Now, we saw violent scenes, of course, in Leeds, Harehills. Quite a lot, as you would imagine, on social media in particular, which is completely inaccurate, inflammatory, and not interested in the community that's been affected. Now, with that in mind, I'm really delighted to be joined by Mothin Ali. Mothin Ali is the Green Party councillor for Gipton and Harehills ward in Leeds. The ward, of course, in which we saw these disturbances yesterday. If people did see them, people, things being set on fire, things being thrown. It looked quite intense, I have to say, from the outside. Mothin Ali played a heroic role, very important to note, because online far-right extremists peddled lies about his presence. What he was trying to do was literally use his body to stop things being set on fire, try to stop destruction. It can't have been easy, Mothin. So firstly, how are you doing?
I'm pretty tired. I got home around 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I was back here for 9 o'clock. So I'm pretty tired.
Can you just tell us what happened?
I mean, the incident that sparked the situation. It's a family issue. So and the exact details aren't available. So I don't think it's fair to go into too much about that. But I got here yesterday about 6:30 in the evening, and I saw probably about 1,500 people here. They were very angry. A police car had been overturned and smashed. The crowd was angry, but it was contained. It was settled. The police were there in decent amount of numbers. They had the situation under control. Myself and a couple of others were acting as barriers to try and protect the police, try and push the crowd back. So we were doing that to just do what we could do to try and settle the situation.
Could you just tell us just a little bit about Harehills in terms of the diversity? It's a very diverse part of Leeds. Can you just tell us the sorts of communities that live side by side?
I mean, Harehills is one of those typical inner city areas. It's got an amazing mix of people. I normally call it a rainbow of flavors. We've got people from all kinds of ethnicities. It's always been the type of community where new immigrants come into the area and then find their feet, establish themselves into the community, and then move on to bigger and better things. So with that in mind, it does have a very transient population. But there's a lot of different people. We're not the wealthiest population in the world, or the wealthiest area in the world. So it does have a lot of poverty. But we get on. I mean, we work together, we live in harmony, and we get on and we survive together.
So, I mean, I was going to ask you about the relations between communities. I mean, has there been any kind of tensions pre-existing? Anything that made you think something could end up happening here? It just needs a spark. Was that something that crossed your mind?
I don't think there's been tensions between the communities or different types of communities in here, different religions in this area. I don't think that's been the problem. I think what has been the problem is the chronic systematic failures that surrounded areas like Harehills and that surrounded other inner city areas throughout the UK. We've had the housing state in this area is really poor quality. We're one of the most densely populated areas in the UK.
Would you say, I mean, were there kind of pre-existing frustrations with the state, with authorities, which crossed maybe different community lines?
With that chronic systematic failure for this kind of community, we've got, it's a poor community. We've got very little, a lot of people have very few opportunities. They have very few prospects of what to do after school, what to do in terms of a career. So with that, there's a lot of people with a lot of free time. So that results in, people who are frustrated, who are fed up, who are being fed up, who are fed up of being let down. Whether it's local government or national government, there's a common phrase that happens in Harehills that often people do things to us rather than with us.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that we've been asking for, is to work with much more of a collaborative way with the community here. And that's something that's severely been lacking.
What do you think, from your perspective, what was going through people's minds last night? What do you think the kind of, when people were, out on the streets, all the rest of it, what do you think was the different kind of things rushing people's heads from what you could hear people saying, communicating?
So people are just frustrated. They want to be heard. A lot of the tension in this community, the initial demand was around returning the children. But later on, as it progressed, people from outside of the communities started coming in. When some of the right-wing elements started sharing things on social media, people started coming in from outside and making things even worse. They just came in because they wanted violence, they wanted destruction, they wanted to cause trouble. And they wanted to just burn everything. There were a lot of angry people on the street.
I mean, how did it's rare for a councillor like yourself to actually get involved and try and, stop what was happening from happening. A lot of councillors that have kept well away. What made you think, I need to do something, and how did you feel? I mean, what was the atmosphere like? Did you not feel pretty worried about your own personal safety?
To be honest, I really didn't think about what was about myself. This is my community. It's my neighborhood. These are my people, regardless of background, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of religion. They and I are one. We're the same. We're one community. We've got to look out for each other, and they've elected me as their representative. Now I've got to step up. I've got to be there for them, and it's the same way that I've been there for them, for this, the same way I've been there for this community ever since I've been part of it. Ever since I've been an adult here, I've been active trying to campaign on some of the inequalities, campaign on some of the social issues, because this is part and parcel of our community. If we don't stand up, then who's going to? No one else from outside is going to come in and protect us or do something for us.
I mean, how do you feel about the fact you did that at considerable, I would say, risk your own safety, and then you had these far-right extremists portraying you as, you've already suffered this terrible Islamophobic attacks. You were elected democratically by your community. They put their faith in you. You got a lot of Islamophobic bile off the back of that at the time. And now you put yourself forward to try and protect your own community. And you've got these far-right extremists saying awful things and lying about your role there. How did you feel about, what's your response to that, I suppose?
I look a certain way. I've got a brown face. I've got a big beard. I wear a hat. I often dress in traditional dress. I visibly look different. So I don't just, I'm not just Muslim, but I'm the sort of caricature Muslim. If you looked in the dictionary for a Muslim, you could find my picture in there. And this is what a Muslim looks like. And for years, the media have portrayed Muslims as some kind of, fifth column, some kind of, some kind of nefarious underground people here. So they've built up an image of us in a very negative way. And now what people are trying to do, what they did around my election result, especially because I've been so vocal on Palestine and I've been so vocal on opposing what the ICJ call a plausible genocide, they wanted to find a way of discrediting me. So what they did was they took snippets of my words, took them out of context, and they tried to broadcast me as some kind of radical. I don't think it's radical to oppose a genocide. I don't think it's radical to stand up against war crimes. I think that should be normal.
Well, if it is radical to stand against genocide, I'm a radical. Nigel Farage, the Reform leader, just a couple of final questions. He tweeted, "The politics of the subcontinent are currently playing out on the streets of Leeds. Don't say I didn't warn you. Hope Not Hate, amongst others, have said that he got the facts completely wrong." What's your response when Nigel Farage says that?
It's hugely, hugely irresponsible. Someone who's an elected official in that capacity should be trying to heal communities, trying to bring communities together. First of all, it wasn't anything to do with South Asian people. We were the ones who were actually trying to resolve things. A lot of Muslims, when they saw me trying to put the flames out or trying to stop people, they actually came out in support and tried to assist me. But not just Muslims, a lot of Christians, a lot of other people came out and also tried to help. So it was what you saw was a true glimpse of Harehills, where the community comes together. When the worst is against us, we band together and we pull through. But what people like those politicians that you've mentioned, some of the far-right characters, some of the far-right newspapers, they're hugely irresponsible. They're hugely causing harm to not just our community, but to Britain at large. They just want to cause division. They want to cause hate. They should have better sense.
Just finally, what next? What's the way forward after this? And what do you think the strategy needs to be right now?
So this morning I met with the families. I've been liaising with the families all day. I've been liaising with the police all day. I led a team. I organised a team that we went up the road that was severely affected, cleared it of any debris, anything. If anything does happen, that at least there's no missiles that they can use on the road. So we cleared it of bottles, litter, any kind of piece of wood, bricks, anything that was lying around. We manually did that with brushes and shovels. And that was, again, the community coming together, community organisations coming together to help with that. And that's what we're about. So we will rebuild. We've done it before and we can do it again. We just need cooler heads and we can find a solution. We just need to build a level of trust. We need to have proper communication, something that's real, not just a surface level photo opportunity. We need something real, something that's going to make some real change for the lives of the people here.
Amen to that, Mothin. You quite correctly described the headline in The Independent was the hero councillor who formed a human shield to stop violence escalating in Leeds riots. I hope it's a headline you should be rightly proud of. Mothin Ali, Green Party councillor for Gipton and Harehills, big honour. But for those watching, listening, press like, subscribe, do leave your comments. Love to hear your thoughts. Obviously, do keep those comments consistent with the sorts of values I would expect. But do share the message, get Mothin's voice out. But Mothin, big honour. Well done to you. Big up. Cheers, buddy.
Okay. Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
Owen, I've been a massive fan of yours for a very long time. And I've been wanting, this has been some sort of a dream, to have a chat with you on one of your podcasts.